June 1972. We have made progress. We have shed light. And still, we have reserves. Britain has fallen. Suez is in hand. Africa seems deserted. Here in the 2000th generation of the World War, there's a complete absence of Allied forces over here in Egypt. They left behind a bunch of abandoned fortresses. The UK is out of it, and after some daring aerial maneuvers, great advances were made into France. Current fielded manpower ratio, just shy of 13 million for the Republic, and at most 9 million for the remaining Allied armies. Remaining undefeated Allied majors: Czechoslovakia, Spain, Italy, Yugoslavia, and France. And we have surpassed the industry estimate here. We are firmly above the low estimate. We're comfortably in the middle at our 54 to 116 kills exchanged. So it continues. So, supposing no witchcraft promotes any of the New World allies to great power status, our remaining operations are all right here. Just need a cleanup of the rest of Europe, for which we've already established many key footholds. There's some hooks into the plateau. We've advanced up to the Hungarian border. And we've made steps into the Balkans. And with each grandiose advancing maneuver that we manage to pull off, there's lower and lower densities of Allied forces crammed onto the remaining borders. And outrageous aerial adventures will become more and more feasible. So things are going to accelerate. It'll be a matter of identifying where we can best get leverage and claim ground. But at this point, a strong candidate would be to go after, like, Brno here. A lot of fortification near Vienna. And we'd have our backs to neutral Austria. We could get the airborne, get them over there. And we have the rivers all around, so this would be a very defensible position for the airborne to just dig in and be an anvil on which to strike the Allies. Vienna currently controlled by the Italians. They took it off of... I don't recall if Austria was independent during World War 0.1, or if Austria was pulled back out of the German Empire during Dolph's defeat. What's important is that we look forward. When Vienna is China. And yeah, some divisions were destroyed during the more elaborate parts of this advance, but we have restocked all of those, and a manpower reserve exists, again, as always. Yeah, the paratroopers have been left in Britain, fresh off their success in defeating Britain. For a bit of active rest, I could have them take out Ireland. Since there's no appreciable Navy or Air Force left to really try to resist them. Yeah, so get all the transport planes up. Yeah, Yorkshire. This is also saturated in radar. There's no shortage of radar. It's everywhere. Some of their airports are lacking, though. Shameful. Come on, Britain. You've had nowhere else to go this whole time. Why haven't you maxed out all of your domestic construction? Anyway, this can be pretty straightforward. Yeah, there's hardly any divisions defending Ireland directly. The only usable major harbors are Dublin and Belfast. But the whole airborne army dropping in, we can knock over 2 U.S. National Guard divisions or 1 UK Tanzanian Colonial Division. Neat. Like the sun at high noon. And we did turn up police recruitment. Since all these sudden advances mean we have demand for many, many more suppression units. That rate should be affordable. Let's see. MPs, 5,000 men per 120 days. Yeah, that's just 20,000 men per month to run 16 police recruitment. That's an acceptable portion of the budget. And off we go.
何指示？出发！命令！立正！准备移动！出发！
Yeah, the existence of all this provincial AA means we're not going to have drops that are free of damage completely, even in the absence of enemy aircraft.
你何指示？
This is acceptable.
出发！准备！准备移动！准备完毕，长官。命令！准备移动！
Oh, the British abandoned Belfast.
注意！
Handy. Excessive, hardly. What's there to understand? There's one China. There it is. A shining blue marble suspended in the void.
注意！准备完毕，长官。出发！立正！
I'll leave the Isle of Man. If this were some other run, less blessed with the absolute certainty that our grandfather's rifle is good enough for all future generations, that this rifle is the grandfather of all future generations, your special forces teams are where you'd probably invest in throwing your handful of superior equipment that you build. As well proven by 30 years of combat data, even the worst gear is good enough for holding the line. So you only need to... well, not even need, you're only ever kind of enticed to spring for the good stuff for, like, your shock troopers, your elite line-breaking units.
Your gold is always welcome here.
Yes, the romance of one kingdom. One kingdom which is a republic. The once and future China. In our case, again, we have invested in a high-tech heavy weapon. It's planes. Just need to pick one and make it good. Bring it to full power.
准备完毕，长官。出发！上！出发！注意！准备移动。准备完毕，长官。 准备移动，集合，命令。上。 是的，长官。集合。是的，长官。
These folks will put up a fight. They're dug in, urban terrain, well equipped, well organized. They'll deal some damage. They'll put on a good show. Boat fight. Boat fights. And I believe some Crusader Kings will be in the cards for next on the Paragame rotation. Also, let's see, I do have this pile of boats that's been accumulating. Republic of China Fleet 1. The sequel thereof. Let them go escort things. Man is vacant. And the fleet has managed to teleport over. There's been more dev news about how boats will be made less terrible and more interesting. Main tangible thing that they put out recently is there's going to be boat customizing. So that you can take a boat and very, very tangibly build it for a role. Have your anti-submarine destroyer, or your anti-aircraft destroyer, or your attempt boat combat destroyer, or what have you. Other, I think, more important thing that's going to be in play with boats when Man the Guns drops, minefields are going to be a mechanic. You build boats that are mine layers and have them put mines into a sea zone that will passively attack hostile boats, unless the opponent builds minesweepers to try and dispose of the mines. If man is unoccupied, then let man be secured. One day of planning. Then we strike. And there we go. Last enemy holdout is a tank, so our units really can't damage it directly at all. All up to the birds. Ireland formerly defeated. Australia has been promoted to great power. The depths have spoken. Australia and New Zealand have been promoted to leaders of the Allied forces. This won't end. We will have to take Mexico. We'll have to take Brazil. It was inevitable.
准备，
Oh, the paratroopers managed to lose another unit. Come on. Where'd it go? Find it. But the way things have been going, we might get this war to a conclusion by the mid-80s?
准备完毕，
Maybe.
长官。
Maybe. First, if I start focusing more on securing capitulations. It's also with this in mind, look, Budapest is unguarded and Hungary was just promoted. One of the grand ideas was that we could turn, like, the entire middle of Europe into a pocket and then crunch it. You know, if we went down the Alps, over the Alps, or up through Yugoslavia. Like, if we go through French South Germany, if we take Munich, that connects one side, then we just scooch over the Alps, secure Venice. Then make our way around to Zagreb. And then the trap is set. The great problem that will come up with fighting the New World is we will need to do a naval assault somewhere. We could island hop. Greenland is there. Greenland into Newfoundland, into Canada. Then reasonably from Canada to the Caribbean to Mexico. Cuba up to? Blue. Blue. Factionless. They're fine. Also, let's see. The New World allies don't have all that many planes. That's not much of a threat. Work has been done to grind down the Allied Air Force into a fine powder. Healthy aluminum dust. But we can bottle the aerial adventures for a moment. Carry on with more garrison recruiting.
Billy. 准备。注意。
The question, where to next? The Colombian Tank Division. Good to know him. We have all sorts of places where resistance is going to flare up because I've overextended the police. We'll work on that. I think my preferred axis of attack at this point would be to shift focus back over here again. And just begin a straightforward... Okay, the Hungarian border is pretty tough. So we'll hop over the Hungarian border. Or conveniently, they've strung their forts deep into their territory and then not put anyone in them. So if we airdrop into Budapest and the surrounding neighborhoods, with a nice firm grip, tiny supply problems.
是的，长官。
Well, go further.
准备移动。是的，长官。撤退。是的，长官。命令。
Advance far enough to seize control of the regional governments so we can get them to build some nicer roads. Standard procedure.
准备。命令。有何指示？起身。准备移动。出发。
Wouldn't you know it? It's China.
As it's been. As it must.
准备移动。
There's no way it couldn't be.
出发。
Was it ever not?
Some might say so. I don't believe them.
Fools. Charlatans.
立正。集合。命令。
A factory slot in Sinai, unused. Neat.
Why wouldn't there be a factory in Sinai?
Would
So much
waste
history
this
in Sinai.
Perfectly good real estate.
Yeah. Put it up on that mountain. I don't see it being particularly important.
准备完毕，长官。命令。
Suppose this does also mean I need a war plan for going after Australia. Which, that might... Yeah, I think this is close enough that we won't have to resort to boats. We could still fall into Australia.
That's right. The army of only paratroopers.
Every soldier gets a plane. Every plane filled with soldiers.
准备完毕，长官。准备
See,
移
the only
动。
limit of our Air Force was that it couldn't capture ground. Until now. The ultimate weapon. Right, that is as far as we will bother to advance into British Africa. That improves their supply situation.
有何指示？
Now instead, to devote effort to this,
命令！
to further operations.
准备！集合！命令！ 准备移动。有何指示？有何指示？
See, classic counter-intel shuffle here of having the main thrust of the attack be Group 3 out of 4, which is composed of units 17, 18, 19, 20, 8, 27, and 29.
Message received.
All in its time and place.
立正！
Our walking to victory, day by day. This time, we don't have Paris to distract us as a prize to wander off and seize. These units are going to drop in there and hold position, and then all of the front around them is going to make its advance. Or whichever portion would give us, like, the shortest path to reconnect and attempt yet another pocket. Probably... yeah, here by Arad. And then right down the middle here. We have no shortage of bombers active in the area waiting for something to support. They fan out a little to just seize the rivers. And then they've arrived. And we make our moves. Since the fall of Britain, there have been very few enemy aircraft to worry about. Alright, they're in position.
准备完毕，长官。
Jump it.
是的，长官。出发。是的，长官。有何指示？ 集合！
Air supply being a thing, paratroopers perhaps went from non-existent to too real all at once.
有何指示？准备。
Rather than cutting all the way south, I have better angles for attacks over here.
注意！注意！
One, and then the other.
集合！是的，长官。出发！出发！准备完毕，长官。
Alright, light things up on the border. As the paratroopers get into position. Now we sustain violence.
命令！命令！准备移动！
That's right, charging face first into a level 10 fort, because you know what doesn't care about fort level? Bombers.
Yeah. Bomb it.
My units are taking as much damage as they would have if no fort were present.
出发！
There's no difference between fortifications and open ground.
准备完毕，长官。
Once the world learns this, the healing may begin, but they kind of refuse to learn it.
Great tragedy of history.
准备完毕，长官。出发！接着，有何指示？
Anything can be a fortress if 1,000 men die to defend it. At least.
出发！
That hill over there, that was a fortress.
准备！
Look how
This
much
one
blood is
rock?
on it.
是的，长官。
Fortress.
How could it be anything but a fortress?
That one province in Romania,
The swamp that's still on fire? What a powerful fortress.
every last inch of that is its own separate fortress.
准备！出发！
Soldiers lived there and died there for a year and a half. The swamp garrison. Their
Soldiers were
bones
born
still
there.
stand guard. Now I said these paratroopers were just going to stand here, but with the shape of the battlefield, they can't afford not to be running diversionary raids. This is a form of standing, where you stand toward the enemy, brandishing your weapon.
命令！是的，长官。有。有何指示？出发！有何指示？准备！是的，长官。注意！准备移动。准备完毕，长官。注意！
This battle will anchor one end, and then this battle will anchor the other. Completing another perfect combat orb.
准备移动。是的，长官。接着，
The sphere is the optimal shape for violence per surface area.
集合。准备。注意！ 出发！
North end is linked up,
准备移动。
creating some lovely, truly exquisite lines. Look at that.
Gorgeous.
Look at that ambition. That initiative. Get in there. Take up that fight.
准备完毕，长官。出发！
You gotta wonder how if the rest of the world will ever figure out your tactic of just getting in there and cutting them apart.
有何指示？
Have any Western military thinkers cracked the code?
准备移动。
Our powerful secret technique of just go.
命令！
Just go. Sometimes start from over there instead of over there. What if behind lines? You know, it works.
Dive kick.
准备移动。
That's a way to put it, for certain.
准备完毕，长官。注意！集合。有何指示？出发！出发！
Things are reasonably stable up north, so we just need to complete the southern link so that we can do the next pocket. Sequel to the previous pocket. Applying pressure on 2 points prevents one of these from reinforcing the other, and furthermore clamps down on any attempts to escape from the pocket as it is forming. Anything that's trying to withdraw from here has to get through 2 battles before it can flee. And now they're trapped. Now the healing can begin. The healing of the land, which has been deprived of its rightful
准备完
rulership.
毕，长官。出发！准备移动。命令！
We'll fix this for just a few million ordinary lives. Hey there, discontinuity in the line. Could you not exist? That'd be great. Just should not happen. This fighting will take us into Mandev for a little bit, but all of the usual reasoning holds for how that is fine. Also, hey, which of these received paratroopers? There's a paratrooper line in there somewhere. And actually, all of you are needed over here in the other direction. In fact, let me purge your order. Just drop one of these real quick. Yeah. Oh yeah, also if garrison soldiers are going to slowly populate Britain, then this whole batch of line infantry can just be down here as well. Make your way.
Just kind of marching your way through the last tiny bit of Europe. The absolutely tiny, incredibly small continent that doesn't count.
Barely there.
Oh, yeah. That's nothing. What even is all that? That ain't anything.
All personnel adjacent to the pocket should be attacking into the pocket. No questions. Also, hey, is that more aluminum? That's right. It's back. Aluminum. We had some. For a bit.
I forget, what was the thing that set this entire war off?
Vietnam.
Who did you attack?
We demanded the
Vietnam?
French leave Vietnam so we could enter Vietnam.
Gotcha.
30 years later, millions dead.
I feel like just saying millions is really undercutting it.
But we haven't quite made it up to the next suffix.
Yeah. Getting close to hundreds of millions, but you only have just barely over one. Okay, you only need roughly 30 million more dead, and then you can say hundreds of millions.
准备移动。
Still, we'll have to really pick up the pace if we want to reach a Giga Death.
Yeah, definitely.
准备移动。
We're probably closer if this board factored in the number of civilian casualties that must be happening in the background across this much war zone,
Yeah, I
across
suppose
this
so.
many years. Then again, we haven't done any strategic bombing. Children and the elderly and infirm only end up in the line of fire because our enemies keep drafting them into service and throwing them out in our path.
Right, yes.
We have never ordered the death of a child who wasn't already in uniform.
准备。
China, which has never harmed a child.
China is friend to all children. All good children who stay at home and don't enter service until they are of age.
Of course, the problem is you've done that to two different generations of kids already, and then you killed them anyway afterwards because they drafted in.
Well, we didn't put them there.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying, this has taken over 37 years.
Plenty of time for each generation of children to grow up, finish their education, enter service. Well, it's the other way around now. Service is education. You can't be a doctor of anything unless you've been out on the front line for at least one tour.
出发！集合！
Trench knife fighting is a national sport.
这个
Beloved national
准备
pastime.
移动。出发！
Since we seized Athens, we can add that to the Olympic roster.
Definitely.
继续移动。
We could probably add, like, dogfighting to it, too. And by dogfighting, I mean pilots.
Aerial
Piloting.
dogfighting, yes, the Sky Olympics.
The Skolympics.
Before 117. After still 117, we pushed the kill board up high enough that even maneuvers like that are kind of a blip. A suffix. Footnote. So one more good surge forward and we will hit Austria, and that'll be half of this nonsense. Then we just need a South German campaign, skimming the edge of the Alps. And that would be the maneuver. For which then another jump. Not quite. Well, to pivot for a different direction, a jump into Belgrade. That would create a good anchor to seize all these folks.
Yeah, a curve into a grade into bell curve.
Yeah. A jump into Light Fears.
A water without any ice.
Valuable strategic commodity.
Along with the most valuable strategic commodity, dirt.
Ordinary dirt.
There's just not enough of it around here.
Fortunately, we maintained the strategic dirt reserve. Nice. The civil engineering number. Very serene.
Very auspicious.
The smaller iterations of that will be our main tool for moving the line forward anywhere that there's real defenses and resistance. Like, for example, not the current state of the French front, where there's, like, provinces with one guy in them.
准备完毕，长官。
We could just dive in there. We can just do a fist fight.
出发！
And sack these lines.
出发！有何指示？
Take some reasonable bites. And yeah, these are Italian and some British. Italy has million left. Singular. And what British manpower remains? Tens of thousands. Alright, Britain is gone. There are no surviving Britain in exile to oppose us.
对。命令。
We can just order a general attack. Ahead in all directions. Go France-wise.
命令。出发！ 是的，长官。准备，开始行动。出发！
Create some small pockets where it's convenient.
炮车！准备完毕，长官。 集合！准备完毕，长官。出发！立正！准备移动。有何指示？ 来吧，开始行动！准备，出发！准备完毕，长官。出发！是的，长官。追！出发！ 出发！出发！出发！是的，长官。命令！
That one division went back to the Isle of Man because the attack order still existed and was technically in effect.
Well,
They volunteered.
yep, they're there.
Now they're going back. As long as they can get past HMCS Bonaventure, the Canadian Navy and its carrier group operating in the Irish Sea.
Oh boy. The Bonaventure.
准备，集合，出发，准备移动，出发，出发，注意，出发。 出发！准备。准备移动。出发！立正。出发！ 立正！立正！出发！出发！开始行动！准备移动！
Question will be, well, among the questions, how much further do we have to drive this line before the French capitulate? Probably not terribly far. We have their largest points. And let's see, since this is stabilized... How and why, though? How can boats be so fake?
Well, this kind of are, I guess. Boats, it turns out, it's not real. They never have been.
So somewhere, 11 divisions from this army cease to exist. Presumably from being sunk while on transports that so of the 100 escort ships that were sent out as part of the North Group, yeah, it seems like most of them have just sort of vaporized, disappeared instantly into the ether. When there is no hostile aircraft.
长官。准备完毕，长官。出发！出发！出发！
Poseidon is dead and remains dead. We have killed him.
准备移动。出征！出发！
Replacements will occur in due time.有何指示？集合！ Current garrison target still 450 and then some.
命令！
That will only improve as we secure more of the French coast. Yeah, Stalingrad is inside the occupation zone. Someone is keeping an eye on it. Just redirect all those fake ships we're creating. These profoundly false entities.
Maybe one day we'll find a ship that is real. I bet it can be done.
If it can happen anywhere, it'll be here.
In China.
Last, China will invent the fighting ship. An unprecedented leap forward in human technology. Alright, so we cool it for a month. In February, the recruitment happens slightly faster, because it's a flat monthly rate and not a multiplied out daily rate. February just works.
People enlist in February.
What else is there to do? Your real Navy plan is to assign bombers to every sea zone and wait. The presence of our supply convoys will slowly lure Allied ships into battles where our bombers will dismantle them. At the cost of mere boats full of people.
We've got tons of those. I mean, what are good are boats anyway when you get down to it? Because, I mean, you can't fight with them.
Frivolous thing about. Wasteful.
One of these days, we will be free of the shackles of boats for moving across the ocean.
Once we finish the bridge.
Yeah.
Or figure out how to transmit people by radio wave. That would do it.
That seems pretty smart.
Radios can get all sorts of places.
It's true.
Also, do not be fooled. We have reserves. One must remember that a national supply of manpower is not like a household supply of manpower. The labor pool of the Republic is backed by the government's ability to print more soldiers.
Absolutely.
It is ultimately an expression of authority and trust in that authority. Only fools still shackle their labor economy to the meat standard. There is no such thing as a worker.
准备移动，出发。准备完毕，长官。出发。准备。注意。配合。准备。准备完毕，长官。准备移动。移动。配合。有何指示？集合！出发！准备完毕，长官。出发！
Maintain steady pressure as we wheel our way across France. Almost got him. Couple more cities. Maybe even Bordeaux. Bordeaux is fairly large.
命令！准备移动！配合！出发！出发！配合！准备完毕，长官。准备完毕，长官。出发！出发！
Just the slightest bit more. One brisk impact. One loud noise.
注意！
A spook in their ear.
长官，准备！准备！
The final decisive jostling.
回身！是的，长官。是的，长官。是的，长官。注意！是的，长官。有指示。让他们尝尝厉害。啊，长官。出发！准备移动。注意！ 长官。
Any day now.
准备。
Just another state. Another hill. Another blade of grass.
是的，长官。有何指示？准备移动。准备。瞄准。
And yes, the Air Force is somewhat rolling forward. Keep up with events. France defeated.
Good work.
France tenuously occupied. Need a quick surge forward to round up the stragglers.
出发！接着，是的，长官。准备！是的，长官。准备！准备移动！出发！准备移动！接着，准备完毕，长官。出发！是的，长官。是的，长官。是的，长官。命令！
And then once we're able to break this up, we need a line to swoop forward to the Alps, and then another line to head over to the Pyrenees, and probably get a chance to step across both of them, because the Allies have definitely not yet reconstituted anything. It doesn't look like there's anything in motion. Where Marines would be similarly useful on both fronts, as both Spain and Italy are alternating large mountain and river valley. Mountaineers are still acting inland. This becomes our opportunity to create the Great Inland Pocket. Dive into Italy and then make our move. Speaking of, that would be the prime opportunity for another aerial maneuver. Break off our airborne. Transports grouped up again. This time the thing to do would be to have everyone go drop in and secure occupied South Germany. Also, hold on here. Expedition 5. Where all is your job? Well, let me simplify that question by saying it's this. Off you go. This is unlikely to resolve in a clean or timely manner. They're probably going to capture Munich of their own accord. Meaning the thing for the paratroopers to do will be to crack the Italian line repeatedly, and then we'll just make our way to Venice, then to Vienna, then connect to Hungary. We are absolutely getting a free foothold in Spain. We've reestablished presence here. Munich is not going to happen, but that's okay. We'll get to it in a more roundabout manner. Yeah, so Mountaineers in one infantry group. Or no, Marines in an infantry group. Cavalry. In an infantry group. May as well have all of them operate down here. Across the rest of this border, we just need presence, especially since we've been there for ages and have fortified it. Completely concrete. Spain has 20 divisions and 100,000 men at the bottom of the barrel. I don't need to micromanage this front. I can just give them a do-your-job attack order and leave them to it. They'll figure it out. They're professionals.
有何指示？
And the rest of the line gets to stabilize. Until we pick an airdrop target. Like Livorno. Or, you know, Rome is unprotected. Rome is lightly protected. Livorno it is.
Philip!
Oh, you can put multiple paradrop orders out of one airport. It'll save time. $68,000 damage to refill. Will also get easier as we start bringing in Spanish recruits. Although now, also, yet further garrisons are needed.
Billy!
Italy, come on. Don't be that way. least I can do this. And allow a moment for the books to balance. As meanwhile, the fall of Spain. $1.25 million new bodies each year. Sustainable. Canada has been promoted. It is official. We go to America. This mechanic that doesn't exist, that is completely pointless because it is constantly cycling itself forward. 645 atoms. The unending work of gradually fortifying ports. Spain defeated. Which also ruins all your attack orders because you've spontaneously captured vast swaths of territory.
继续前进！集合！集合！
Causing all your soldiers to forget what year it is and wander off into forgotten corners of the world.
准备完毕，长官。准备完毕，长官。 毕，长官。准备完毕，长官。命令。集合。
The garrisons will take care of this
命
nonsense.
令。
We have our defense against invasion. And 30,000 in debt to pay. There it goes.
Goodbye.
Wait for a day with no enemy activity. Around Livorno. Then we jump Livorno. Okay, sorting the list by how many units they still have active. Italy, Australia, Brazil, with the nice high estimate, aspiration number. Mexico, Czechoslovakia, the rest.
Going by this alone, you extremely outpace all of them.
Yep. Our army has been larger in number and in unit count for a while now.
Yeah. You just need to finish the job. Take a bit. I mean, you're not really coming under any real opposition at this point. You're just going through the motions of murdering as many men as possible until they give up.
As it's always been.
As it will always be. For China.
是的，长官。
And let another month roll over. Stay safe, General. The people need you.
I'm 12. I apologize. I'm so sorry, Madong. I didn't mean to laugh at Madong has been wounded. I apologize.
毕，长官。出发。是的，长官。我们上。有何指示？准备。集合。注意。
All right, Livorno secure.
有何指示？集合。集合。准备。
Go ahead and clean up these 3 redundant front lines. You're all here. You're all one
让
unit.
他们尝尝厉害。
Just get on the line.
命令。有何指示？准备完毕，长官。出发。准备完毕，长官。
They're gonna kind of secure the peninsula lengthwise. They'll probably make their way up to Bologna. And then we can start thinking about attacks from the mountain lines.
是的，长官。准备。准备移动。出发。列车。 是的，长官。命令。注意。有何指示？
Also, yeah, just confirming, yeah, we got a little supply convoy over the Mediterranean set up. So these lads are reinforcing just
准
fine.
备移动。准备。集合。注意。有何指示？ 准备完毕，长官。继续攻击！继续攻击！出发！出发！命令！命令！命令！出发！有何指示？
And North Green was left with nothing to do. So, congratulations. You're now part of the main Italian offensive. Have fun.
准备！有何指示？ 的，长官。
I look over and out of the corner of my eye see someone typing out and submit to internet communication the phrase, "Taking out Italy will officially end all credible resistance." That is the world we live in. This fearful, cursed age.
是的，长官。命令！准备移动！ 保持距离！命令！
So having the paratroopers just bite in and hold here. Attacking. Why are you attacking?
配合！有何指示？
Yeah, that keeps everything else focused in a direction. Once the main line makes its way up to contact, the paratroopers will all flip to guarding the south line.
我们上！准备！立正！注意！是的，长官。出发！是的，长官。
Italian tank. There it is.
出发！准备完毕，长官。准备完毕，长官。有何指示？准备。出发！
Oh hey, an occupation of France means even more aluminum. Finally, activate more of our military industry that's been laying dormant. Produce even more birds. Oh, also, finally, tungsten has been doing something for us this whole time. It is an ingredient in jet aircraft. The heaviest metal to create flying machines.
准备完毕，长官。
That's just
长官
science.，
命令。对。准备完毕，长官。
I'm not sure what that's representing in the creation of a jet engine. Is that a thing? Because like, chrome being here is for a bunch of heavy vehicles and high-performance machinery. Stainless steel is involved. And other chrome steels. Like, the main other thing they have tungsten be used for is heavy weapons, where it's going into the ammunition.
准备完毕，长官。准备完毕，长官。出发。 撤退！
The alternative would be, when we make contact, one of these infantry armies breaks off and guards this line, and then I make another jump. Alright, I do have capital ships who have been shundering about. And I guess occasionally being harassed by enemy aircraft that continue to exist. Way they can just never really be dealt with. $50 of them, 400 of me, therefore... Oh wait, there's also 1,000 enemy bombers from somewhere that aren't appearing on that half of the chart? Sure. 680 atoms. And ongoing. Finish up this opportunity for another small pocket. That also helps simplify the front. And then the next set of moves will be a jump to somewhere in this vicinity. We can cut off this ongoing offensive over here until we secure Venice. Then we want to launch an assault through Hungary to close off the final seal.
长官，继续攻击！集合！
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Victory point for a little bit of early supply, heavily fortified location, nearby airport, and one step in all directions mostly seals off this entrance. And the second step in any direction grabs them a supply port.
准备完毕，长官。
And we already have the air presence from the other fronts.
准备移动。
Oh, and we qualify to have even more paratroopers since this general ranked up. Wonderful. Go ahead and let that happen. The thought being raised of making everyone into paratroopers, that runs into there's a maximum proportion of your military that can be special forces. The more paras we created, the more regulars we would need on the side to balance them out. Although at this point we have a fairly sizable volume of people who are just guarding harbors. So we could probably get away with a very large special forces wing. Chill out for the moment as we restock. And we will want these cavalry to be active on the Hungarian border, which we can also scale them up. As well arrange for that. Everyone gets a vacation. Acceptable vacation destinations are at your post on the front line. Sanctioned vacation activities are keeping watch for hostile soldiers and engaging them when they appear. Enjoy a safe and productive holiday. Italy, Australia, Czechoslovakia. Just you wait until Brazil gets promoted. New Zealand was demoted. Yugoslavia, Canada. Like, the ability for different powers to become leaders needs to exist so that France can be defeated and the US can join the Allies and that change of hats can occur. But the thresholds for such, if there are any checks in place to like have some minimum amount of like industry and military that you need to qualify for leadership, it's an amount that matters in the early game, and by the late game, even mid-sized powers have more weight to throw around than anyone did at game start. That's my suspicion. That the credentials for being a major are there so that everyone, all the majors at the start of the game can qualify for being majors. But the problem is, minors become majors, and majors go to space in the end game and the post game. That orb would qualify. More than enough industrial capacity to be a major player. They'll just keep looking for opportunities to bite bits off of their total division count. Simplify my lines. Slowly close in for the kill. Venice is right here. Marines wound up standing inland.
准备。
Where there's already enough presence. Let's move them over here. Are the necessary localized weight of numbers to finish pressing up here and across these rivers. Gotta ford some swamp. Every bit of ground we gain is another irreplaceable slice of the Allied war machine.
是的，长官。出发！
In Hearts of Iron, truces have always existed on paper as a hypothetical but never a practical reality. I am okay with that. The tenacity with which wars are fought in Hearts of Iron is kind of the point. It's what you're here for. It's the war game of the franchise that is primarily and wholly about combat. Build your army, smash your army into another army, sustain violence. That's the game. It's not supposed to be a series of small local wars that you build up the results of over centuries like other para games. It's the big one. It's the war. It's the sequel to the war to end all wars. The war no one knew they wanted.
准备完毕，长官。命令。对。出发。继续前进。导弹攻击！准备。 准备移动！对。配合指示。出发！隐蔽！后退！
Come on, get in there.
出发！
I want this pocket. Get another 8-ball.
是。注意！注意！出发！出发！准备完毕，长官。准备完毕，长官。命令！那个。准备。
That one always deploys, like, a day before the rest of his team. Alright, fine. Let's be relatively humble and settle for this. I can make this a larger attack, and I can cut off all supply of reinforcements to it. That'll go better. Yeah, there we go. And each step we get closer here makes it a bit easier to make the move on Vienna. Venice is in hand. Meaning it's about time to make the jump. Or, since this line is almost in contact with Austria, the jump should be directly for Vienna. Do we have the range for that? We do.
是的，长官。有何指示？追！准备完毕，长官。
Strange geometries of battle plans. We jump for Vienna. Vienna itself is heavily fortified. Have the river to our backs. Then this line just needs to advance 2 provinces in order to close their part of the line. And then all of this becomes isolated from the rest of the world. Okay, they are guarding Vienna, occasionally. When you just surround Vienna... Oh, is that your limit then? It's about how many transport planes, I guess. Or it's completely made up and fake. As things are. No, that seems right. Right enough.
长官。命令！准备！是的，长官。
When did the others get here? Where are my
准
rookies?
备完毕，长官。
Just passing through all swamps now.
有何指示？有何指示？注意！注意！是的，长官。
Start preheating the battle line here.
命令！注意！准备完毕，长官。
Alright, paratroopers are all in.
准备完毕，长官。注意！有何指示？
Some of them are dropping directly into combat. An amount of wiggling of the enemy lines occurred.
集合！都冲上去！后撤！准备！立正！立正！准备完毕，长官。准备完毕，长官。准备移动。出发。是的，长官。出发。集合。
And connected. Connected. Fate sealed.
准备。是的，长官。
The ritual is complete. Austria does not grant anyone access.
准备移动。出发。准备移动。出发。出发。注意！
There will be no outside interference as we begin the final attack of this phase of the operation.
准备完毕，长官。准备移动。命令，
Final asterisk.
注意。准备完毕，长官。是的，长官。出发！有何指示？准备！准备移动。
Now, these units aren't immediately going to go into peril entirely.
准备完毕，长官。注意。出发！
I've isolated them in the grand sense of things, but there are still entire countries here who will be able to put up some amount of supply weight and will need to be knocked out. There's no escape, though.
注意！准备！有何指示？出发！是的，长官。走。注意！注意！命令！出发！命令！集合！
What's a paratrooper doing over here? Paras, did you extended your combat line to be the entire rest of the border? Admirable, but unnecessary. That's a good initiative, but also very pointless.
准备！准备移动！准备完毕。
After you live there, everyone else looks inward.
是的，长官。准备！注意！出发！移动！出发！继续移动！出发！ 注意！ 命令！是的，长官。出发！准备移动！注意！命令！准备完毕，长官。准备完毕，长官。出发！注意！准备移动！有何指示？注意！这！准
Frog's right there. Probably should have stopped a moment to contemplate the kill board at the start of the operation. Here in March 19, 120.8, 55.77. Also, while doing the big circle, didn't immediately put the enemy into full peril. Hey, what's this? Hey, what's this? What are you folks doing? What is this garbage animal who's been allowed to pierce the lines? Anyway, I was starting to say, knowing that I have created this death zone, and thus beginning to relentlessly attack into it from all sides, does quickly put the enemy in peril. When I know they have nowhere left to run.
官。集合！命令！准备完毕，长官。准备完毕，长官。是的，长官。出发！命令。出发！命令。出发！是的，长官。准备完毕，长官。
Alright, the Italian units are starving. The Alps is a dead
出
zone.
发！对！出发！
Switzerland might offer safe haven for a while.
他们正在撤退，长官。命令！出发！准备移动。是的，长官。出发！集合！ 都冲上去！是的，长官。列阵。命令。准备移动。 集合！出发！注意！出发！出发！列阵！ 列阵！集合！集合！列阵！
Switzerland is starting to yield.
注意！准备完毕，长官。集合！列阵！有何指示？准备。准备完毕，长官。注意！出发！列阵！ 准备完毕，长官。准备移动。集中。是的。准备移动。
Lonesome team of main battle tanks. Running scared through the hills. Nowhere to go, nothing to lose.
出发！集合！命令！是的，长官。啊！是的，长官。出发！准备！
Switzerland defeated.
命令！集中！准备移动！准备！出发！集中！是的，长官。集合！准备！集合！列车！准备！
And no attempt to attack the outer layers of the killing field has had any success. Our defenses are impregnable.
出发！准备完毕，长官。出发！列车。集合！出发！让他们尝尝厉害！往上！准备完毕，长官。出发！继续移动。 集合！命令！
So it ends at Munich. $808 atoms. Right, we added 3 million Allied dead in exchange for not even 1 million of ours. We have reduced the total size of the Allied forces to 4 to 5 million active soldiers. The remaining Allied great powers not yet capitulated. Yugoslavia, Italy, Australia, Canada. And didn't manage to lose any divisions over the course of that. Despite running in the red throughout those maneuvers.
准备移动。有何指示？准备。
Hungary hasn't surrendered yet.
有何指示？
Fix that real quick.
出发。有何指示？准备移动。立正。发。命令。追。出发。 有何指示？出发！有何指示？出发！准备完毕，长官。准备！有何指示？
There. Let that be the demonstration to end all doubt. The numbers don't lie. We are beyond the point where we have shattered the Allies' ability to sustain combat. A campaign like that can leave our supply lines a little winded, and our opponent's heart liquefied. Nothing fancy should be necessary to deal with. Oh, they're actually starting to abandon parts of the front. We can just start walking.
出发！有何指示？出发！准备！出发！命令！
And let me see here. Pull the airborne off the front line again.
集合！
Get them gathered someplace to relax. In fact, let's send them all the way back east to get ready for the invasion of Australia. That's where they'll be needed. Where we are massing another gigantic gob of expendable escort ships.
长官。准备完毕，长官。是的，长官。准备。出发。我们上。注意。让他们尝尝厉害。继续前进。对着。命令。出发。出发。命令。立正。有何指示？立正。准备完毕，长官。准备。有何指示？命令。出发。准备移动。出发。出发。
Want to prioritize attacking along the coast. We can prevent escape. Seal the ports. Nothing leaves.
是的，长官。出发。准备完毕，长官。对着。准备移动。注意。出发。集合。出发。注意。集合。命令。对着。对着。出发。go。出发。
Yugoslavia defeated. And now, has another Allied major been promoted? Not yet. The count is still 11.
是的，长官。立正。立正。准备。出发。出发。准备移动。出发。出发。准备移动。准备移动。有何指示？准备。是的，长官。集合。
Right, so also sending the Marines home. I think we can, yeah, we can extract the full expeditionary army and get them ready to go on an expedition. Right, Expedition 5. You had been assigned here. You can leave though. Another thought is we could go after Canada from the Pacific side. Build up a naval base in Kamchatka. Use that to attack British Columbia. Mexico has been promoted to the target list. Congratulations, Mexican opposition. You are a great power. So, of the surviving Allied forces, most are now Italian. Strange facts of the world. The battle plan for finishing off Italy is walk forward. Nice. Futile, but nice. The inevitable number. defeating Italy usually requires the whole deal. Maybe not Sardinia. It's only 3 victory points on Sardinia. Then again, the usual Italy is baseline Italy. Benny Italy. We are 4 Italys down the pile. Palmiro here. Yeah, 62% stable, 100% war support.
Billy.
39% progress, and we're about to reach Rome. Rome, which is a 40-point city.
有何指示？有何指示？出发！
Rome's right there. We've heard much of the Roman. It is the subject of a few books. Italy, who has spent 13 million soldiers against us over the last 20 years. 30 years. Yeah, it's getting close to 30. I went back and checked at some point as to when this war started. It was late 45?
准备完毕，长官。是的，长官。注意，
And let's see, of the soldiers fighting here, how many are foreign? Are we fighting mostly actual Italian units? Looks like it. You know, they could drag this out a while if there were any Brazilians holding this line.
配合。出发！命令！准备完毕，长官。有何指示？随身。 冲上去！隐蔽！准备！出发！我们上！注意！准备移动！ 出发！有何指示？出发！准备完毕，长官。准备移动。准备移动。
Just one new occupation policy to relax.
集合。
108,000 new recruits every month.
准备完毕，长官。命令。有何指示？出发！出发！ 准备完毕，长官。开车，出发。继续前进，都冲上去！开车！准备完毕，长官。准备移动。有何指示？
Yeah, just gonna go ahead and invite the police out to start setting up shop before we finish fighting. It's truly, we have finished fighting.
有何指示？准备完毕，长官。准备完毕，长官。都冲上去！出发！出发！快走！
Bulgaria remains a loyal
是的，
ally.
长官。
Much of the surviving Italian units are in Africa.
准备移动。对。有何指示？准备完毕，长官。注意。
We will war to each horizon until all lands are known. Total Allied forces down to 500 industry.
准备移动。
There they go.
准备。
Like, okay, yeah, the Allied Air Force is showing up to make a last stand. Their next last stand.
有何指示？命令！注意！集合！出发！是的，长官。准备移动！出发！准备。命令！
This is a world where finally has lost all meaning. Things don't end. Also, yeah, centralist Australia's flag doesn't make a terrible amount of sense. They had to invent a flag for every country for each ideology. The fallback theme for fascist flags is just kind of pointy. Just add geometry. I suppose it might be meant to be like a Southern Cross. It's pointy. That's what matters. That is the fallback indicator of a fascist state in flags that are in this game. Aggressive shapes. Yeah, let's see, you have the... Canada's still normal. South Africa has that going on. I'd probably have to go into just, like, the files to find the full list of flags. Not too many of them on display at the moment. Nearly self-reliant. Just needed to extend ourselves to cover most of the Earth. Alright, surprising. Didn't have to go into Sicily. And like that, Europe is solved. Look forward to being forced to defeat Liberia, Guatemala, and we're actually running out of countries. I was on my way to the diplomacy list with that thought in mind. That just the list overall is dwindling. Well, in 1974, continent is one. Still, we have reserves. Yeah, I think we could finish cleanup by the 80s. We just need to mount overseas attacks. We need 3 invasions at minimum. And then, the 3 additional invasions will be roped into. How many Allied warships still exist? How many aircraft? Because again, that still isn't a number that gets placed on the big board. There are scraps of a Royal Navy in exile. There's a Royal Air Force in exile. And of course, America is still building weapons and lend-leasing them over to the Allies. Aren't they? No, they've stopped lend-leasing. They have the doctrine down, guaranteeing protection of the Americas. Although that we've bypassed by being the defender? Except not, except yes. Because they joined the war against us, rather than us declaring against any of them. Yeah, they've sent volunteers, but are no longer selling weaponry. The Allies can be run out of gear. Yeah, I'll have to consolidate all of my stuff, and then plan some assaults. We'll see what happens. Entire hemisphere.